in my life. But I remember in college doing a jewelry competition and really getting feedback from consumers who were like, man, this is so incredible. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I love it so much. How much is it? What?
Cannot.
And I'm like, you know how much time and energy?
Girl.
No, I can't do that. But you love it so much. So it's like this back and forth. Like, great piece. And then it's like
the price. Here we go.
What? Like, you don't understand how long this took and how the expense involved time and materials.
Oh, yes.
Like
artists, creatives, and designers. I'm your host, Electra, and welcome to Dream Aloud Art, where we have educating, inspiring, and motivating conversations with creatives from around the world. Show some love and support by subscribing, liking this video, and uplift another creative by sharing this video. Let's tune in to another amazing conversation. Let's go. Artists, creatives, and designers, welcome to Dream Aloud Art on YouTube. And of course, we have a very special guest today. It is my friend and fellow artist, Bonnie O'Donnell. So what comes with Bonnie? Of course, you have to listen to the full episode to find out. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see her beautiful jewelry that she is rocking today. So Bonnie is an artist who makes beautiful and incredible pieces with the powers to heal. Yeah. Some of y'all already felt it. You already felt it because y'all know the people I talk to, right? It's not shallow stuff. So she's a loving wife and mother of two incredible toddlers who also stay very active. They stay very active. And she also spends time beautifying her yard and large garden in Richmond City. So y'all make sure you follow her, send her a message on the gram, connect with her on Facebook, all of that good stuff. Y'all can catch those links in the description below, both on the podcast and on YouTube. You can even send her an email. I say do all of it. Okay. All right. So welcome, Bonnie. What's good, girl?
Thank you.
You'll have to speak. I'm like, speak up, girl. Say it with your chest. Y'all, let me just say this real quick. Let me say this really quick before we dive in. I mentioned at the beginning with all that good intro information, I mentioned that she is my friend. Okay. So I'm gonna let y'all know this right now. Like, Bonnie can cut up. All right. I don't know if she's gonna do it today. I don't know if her spirit's gonna hit her like that. But she can cut up. Like, she is hilarious. I feel like, what's it, maybe like our first time like having lunch or something? I think we were having lunch and I was like, girl, you are hilarious. Like, you just had me in tears.
Are you a comedian? I was like, you were only like a handful of people that have ever said that in my life. But yes, apparently I'm really funny.
Yeah.
I might cry today too. That's always a key point in our visits together.
It's an ingredient. It's a Bonnie ingredient. It comes like, it just has to happen, y'all. And I love that. But you know what? And I'm going to give, add on to that before we continue, is like about crying, because I will start crying. And I'm not even sure if it's like environmentally, like what kicks in and I start to like tear up, but also because y'all make me laugh. Like, people just, I don't know if I just find a lot of things funny or what, but I will just start laughing and then the tears start flowing. I don't even need to laugh that much. And it's just like, like I got to catch myself.
Yeah, we feel things intensely.
Yes.
Did very much so. And yes.
Yeah. It's feeling
positive vibes and absorbing all of that, whether it's super positive or sad and emotional. But
so you think it's more of like being an empath in that way, and it shows up like because we're feeling these energies?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
They have such a connection to artists we have a connection to each other. I can only speak for myself, but I think a lot of artists feel that way about you as well. You just really can feel them, and brings
Oh,
out
that's good. That's good. Y'all, this is why. See, I'm being healed just listening to Bonnie and and just looking at her. Like, that's a whole nother story, y'all. I'll be telling Bonnie that, like, girl, like I just like looking at you. She's just a good-hearted person. That's what that means, y'all. So again, y'all, make sure if you're listening on the podcast that you jump on the YouTube so you too can look into Bonnie's eyes and she can heal you. She will provide a healing that she didn't know she could actually provide through the screen. But yes, so y'all, let's go ahead. We're going to jump right into it. So Bonnie, tell us, meeting someone for the first time, how would you introduce yourself besides my introduction, which of course, that's information people need to know, but what would you tell them as far as what you do when it comes to jewelry?
Yeah, it's Bonnie O'Donnell Power Jewelry. And
Yeah.
I feel like that is what it is. I produce beautiful jewelry that has healing powers, something that you are lacking, something that you are needing, something that you need to have support in, or suppress. Some of those, negative energies. We need to suppress those negative emotions and negative feelings. But
so tell us, and that's a great way to, bring someone up to speed if they're just meeting you for the first time. But how did you get into this, and at what point did it start to stir your interest that you can remember at the earliest time?
Yeah. Wow. I felt like I was beading as a child, worked with jewelry as a child. And then, specifically with this power jewelry, it was in college. I was working for a local bead store. Shout out to Bangles and Beads, Richmond, Virginia.
hey.
And I was like, I want to make myself a power necklace. I just was discovering about the healing powers of stones and what individual stones had to offer, and was going through and was like, everybody was like, what are you doing this? Like, there's so many colors in this. And I'm like, yeah, but it's all the things that I need. And that was the first necklace I ever made. I still have it here. And then made a couple for friends. And then the pandemic hit, and a friend of mine from college was like, you know what? I think you need to bring back your power necklace. And I was like, you know what? I think you are.
I'm going to agree with you.
I think you're right. And so it just took off. So that was about October, I think, October of 2020, and started really going deeper into that and offering that to my friends and family and Instagram and Facebook. Got quite a bit of orders there, and I made a specific earring.
Wait, real quick, for those that may have grazed over that. So you made an earring that's called the pandemic or something?
I named it that.
You named it the pandemic because that was like a collective healing we all needed.
Where it was like a group of women that signed up. It's like a chain gift type of thing. And I actually sent one to a friend of mine in England, and I sent one to her friend in Alaska, and I sent one to my friend here in Richmond.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So it's specific for healing health, emotional healing, because Lord knows that was a part of the pandemic.
Yes. Oh, that's so wonderful.
We stay healthy, but mentally we were all struggling. And I had little teeny children then. So
you sure did, y'all. Her kids are the bomb, by the way. Thebomb.com. Like, I love her kids.
So yes. Electra, they're sad. They were like, we have to take a nap. I want to talk to Electra too.
Oh my God.
Another day.
You're so sweet.
The pandemic hit, and I had a 4-month-old and not even a 2-year-old. Yeah, she was 1.5.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Girl.
Yes. And
Yeah, I commend you. I
crazy.
definitely do.
It's crazy. It was a tough time, but yeah, and it's just evolved since. But that was
so I want to, and thank you for sharing that. I want to segue into more of the creative state. Okay. The creative state of why you do what you do, or why that is, the medium that you go back to, because you are a creator in a lot of different ways. And first and foremost, you mentioned your children, right? You're a creator there too, a co-creator, right? You and your husband. But you've painted before, you've done, a lot of different, you draw, and you still have done some paintings here and there. But what is it about the process of, the concept or the thought or the feeling, the energy, emotions that have to develop, and then the selection of the stones, like, what is it about all of this that keeps you drawn to jewelry?
Yeah.
Power jewelry on top of that.
I have done almost every single medium, I think.
I understand. Like, I get it. A lot of our listeners get it too.
In my lifetime. In high school, I did a lot of mediums. In college, I expanded mediums there.
Girl.
And yes, it's just, I am drawn to a very tedious, monotonous, kind of focusing that energy. So these, beading and the making is very delicate, but very monotonous. And then really wanting to help. As an individual, I really do care about people. I care about my friends. I care about my family. I care about
y'all.
well-being. And
so y'all know she does. She really
does.
That's true.
Pretty intense. And so once I really realized that I can just focus my art in that way of really helping people heal, it was like, this is it. I mean, I still do other things. I made some pastels for my children that you saw, and they're fabulous. I've got pat myself on the back. I was like, man, I thought I was a terrible drawer growing up, and I'm like, these are really good.
Hey, yes.
Who appreciates art very much, so he's like, this is like really good. Thank you. I did a really good camel for my son. That's his favorite animal. Really good.
Yes, y'all. She nailed it. She nailed it. Like nailed it.
And gardening. I really love gardening. So those are my focuses right now: is raising children, making jewelry, and getting dirty out in the yard.
So, and I love that you're continuing to open up more about, the delicate nature of putting jewelry together. Again, y'all, I want y'all to know, again, y'all, check out the YouTube video and see the bracelet that Bonnie made for me, which I have flashed this thing all on the gram more than enough times, and I'll be more than happy to continue to flash it. So I have seen and I haven't even seen her when she's like really, really in her zone, right? But I've at least experienced what she looks like from my point of view in existence. Okay. So I have seen the part of my life's movie, watching Bonnie like pull out her big old kit and everything, right? So you go into some kind of really focused state, as though you are like, it feels medical, if it's like on a medical kind of level, like you take it seriously, not serious as in stress, serious as in you really care about what you're doing. And the selection of the stones, at least my point of view, it's like writing a prescription. Like, it looks so just on that kind of energy of care. And it's beautiful to see, because the reason why I'm sharing this for our artists that are listening is that that energy that is behind your creations is so important. Like it's critical. It's so critical to, it's so critical as to what the outcome of that will be. And so can you share a little bit more about that? Has anyone ever told you that that kind of like what I just shared, has anyone ever said, hey, this is what that experience looks like when you're really focused, or does anyone even get a chance to see much of that? Like, do you just kind of go into your studio, your area, your room? Like what? So share a little more about that.
Yeah. Last weekend I visited a friend and her daughter. I felt moved to bring my bag. Yes, I'm portable.
Yes.
Jeweler. I could,
which is wonderful.
Bag and move it on. And,
yes.
And I could feel and sense that she wanted to make something. I admit she had ordered a power necklace over the pandemic, and when I haven't seen her in several years, and I showed up with the bag, and I could tell her daughter, who's I think just 10. Anyways, I said, do you want to make a necklace with me? And she's like, yes. And it was like, sit down, and yeah, the process is pretty tedious. It was like, and her recipe, I was like, so what do you need? She's like, I'm thinking about it. And then she answered a few general terms, and then she got more involved, and she's like, friendship. I need someone friendship. Really sweet. Like I can see that. Yeah. Friendships can be hard at that age too. And so we just sat down and we wrote all of the powers that she might need. And then, okay, well, let me look at my list and see what stones would work for those powers. What colors do you like? What colors don't you like? And then she really loves beading as well. And so I got to really get her involved.
Right.
It was the most collaborative I've ever been. And I'm like, green these stones. What do you want? And she's like, oh, I want this one. I'm like, all right, pick it out. And she's like, oh, I get to do this? I'm like, yeah. And then I'll be like, okay, we need 2 more of those. So, just really, it is a very step-by-step involved process. Like taxes that I'm doing this week.
The taxes. Very
step-by-step. You can't just go
a process
and start being
willy-nilly.
Well, we got to get organized. We got to do this in a system.
That's right.
So you lay it all out, you measure it, everything's good, and you start stringing it up. And then I get to write everything down. That's your prescription, your receipt of all of these things. You can have education. So if you feel a certain way, you want to know, okay, I'm drawn to this. I put this on. I needed a necklace today. What was it that I felt on that necklace? Like this stone right here, I felt like this energy. What is this stone? And you can reference this back to the letter. And I think that would be supportive as well, because I feel like, this is a gift, but I'm providing this to help you heal, and a reminder that that's what this is a piece of jewelry, and I hope you love it, and I hope you wear it often, but I hope you realize how special and wonderful you are as well.
That's fantastic. That's really fantastic. And you said that was the most that you had ever had anyone collaborate when you're in the zone, when you're in that creative zone. And so was it more comfortable than you might have thought before,
Well, I mean, I had I had great energy there.
Yes.
And
okay.
It was in a social setting too. There were other individuals that were not necessarily involved in this. In the room, and their dad was kind of walking through being busy, and he was like, what are you doing for hours? It was like 4 hours of this process.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, now I can see why he was saying that.
You're making the front door of the house, and I'm making this jewelry with your family right now. Like, oh. And he's an artist too. He is a certain
okay.
So you get it. They get it.
Yeah.
They're all beautiful artist people. Shout out to the Jameses.
Yeah. Shout out to, the James family. Yeah, absolutely. As you were telling that story, I was thinking, I think she's talking about like the post and everything that I had seen recently. So yeah, I love that. I love that. But important that you had just mentioned about, having good energy and whatever good energy looks like for you, having the good energy. And I know, because I can hear some of the artists right now, having good energy isn't what the entire process of art is all about, right? What's most important, at least what I feel the most important thing is that you're actually expressing yourself, no matter what that looks like. You're processing your emotions and you are expressing yourself. But what we're putting some light on right now is that it hits different when it's almost like, not almost like how love is the highest vibration, we'll say, right? And so that means that with that kind of good energy, just in general, it transfers in a way that's more impactful. It transfers in a way that's perhaps more purposeful, in helping lift humanity. Like, I'm just going to kind of go 20 levels deep, but it really does. It really does.
Like food, your parents' food. My mom makes the best scrambled eggs. I've watched her. I know how to make scrambled eggs. I know what she uses.
Yes.
What tools she uses when she starts mixing, but her scrambled eggs with her love in it, you can taste it.
Come on.
You can taste it. So
from head to toe, girl, like.
Yeah, when I write in my letter, Made with Love by Bonnie O'Donnell, that is what it is. I put my love in that. I thought about what powers you needed, and I thought about what you needed to heal from, and that love is in there.
It's in there, y'all. Did you catch? Hold on. It's already in there. Like, hold on. That hit real deep, Bonnie. It's already in there. Like, on it. So I'm going to go again, 20 levels deep. It's already in you what you need to actually create, right? And so as you're creating that love that's already in you, it's transferred. And so it's like with the jewelry, that process, it's real energy is transferred. It's in there. What? I need for y'all to cop like 6 necklaces on that note, like just in one sitting, because it's already in there. Like, what? It's in the mix. Woo, girl. I'm on it. All right. That was like a big gem. That was a big gem. That hit me. Like, I'm sure you can tell. Okay. So when you were interested, the interest is there for creating jewelry. At what point, and I know this is I'll just get to asking the question here, because I feel like if we're always willing to learn and grow, then we're always going to just move in that direction. So your interest could turn into a business, could turn into whatever, and so because the interest is growing, the idea of self-worth and what you're creating is growing. So let me just give that as a heads up. But at what point did the light bulbs perhaps start brightening a bit? Maybe it wasn't like a flip switch, but the dimmer is now becoming brighter, where you feel more positive about your creations. And it just starts to resonate with you more. Can you recall where that started to come into play?
I feel like there's a couple pivotal moments.
Pivotal, yes.
We touched on the pandemic. And I feel like earlier than that,
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was probably earlier than that it just started to like
earlier than that. I mean, I've always considered myself a creative and artist. And I was surrounded by a lot of creative individuals. But there's that comparison of, am I good enough? I do this better. The same thing with the drawing. Like, I always thought I was an awful drawer. So I'm like, okay, I'll do crafts. I love that. And I do. I love a lot of mediums. I do love crafts. I excelled in crafts. I love photography. There are individuals that can do ceramics better than I can, that can photograph better than I can. Yeah, but I still enjoy it.
Yes.
And that took a long time for me to realize that just because I'm not excellent at something doesn't mean that I have to stop doing it.
That's right, girl. That's right.
Yeah, it was. And I guess in college, I mean, I just, my parents are going through the phase of eliminating some things, and they found some old clippings from the newspaper of what the year that I graduated, and it was like everything was posted in the newspaper, and it was like Bonnie O'Donnell this, Bonnie O'Donnell this, Bonnie O'Donnell, Bonnie O'Donnell, Bonnie O'Donnell, Bonnie O'Donnell. Like, I won that many awards and scholarships when I graduated. That's crazy. Like, more than these athletes and these, these popular cool kids in school that I think are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Okay. I forgot about that a little bit. All right. And then I went to BCU and I did their portfolio day, their 1-day acceptance portfolio day. You brought your portfolio, you dropped it off in the morning, you came back several hours, and they told you whether or not you were accepted.
Oh my good. That's how they were rolling. Okay.
And this is hundreds of people.
Wow.
This is not, just like 50 people showing up. And I got it. And I felt like then I was like, oh, okay, validation. I got this. Like,
oh, snap.
I'm worthy. I'm supposed to be here. Then you get to the comparison again. But I tried to really flip a switch when I went to college.
Yeah.
And before I even went there, I was like, I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm not going to judge anyone by their appearance or whatever. I'm going to judge everyone. I'm going to be a friend to everyone. And I really tried to make that continue.
You tried.
For sure. And it worked. I had lots of fun. It was great.
Okay. All right. In that sense. Okay. That's good. That's good. That's really huge. In college, that's really huge.
But also, your professor's pushing you to do things, try different things. And yes, some people might think you're just beating. It's just beating. I've heard that.
Right. But what is it to you?
Really, really, really love to do. Like, I really love this process. I really do. I did glass blowing. Well, it was lamp working, not glass blowing. Sorry. Lamp working, cold,
Well, that still interests me. I'm like, say what? Because I don't do that. I haven't done it.
What did I do? I made jewelry. I made these teeny tiny, tedious little pieces of glass, hundreds of pieces, and made this big, huge necklace.
Oh my gosh.
That's still what I was doing. And kept pushing me to set stones and do all this.
So that development is just, well, maybe that's the word that I'm going to reference here, is that it's been a development. It's been in the process, and the appreciation. It sounds like with what you're just sharing with us, even if you have those moments of comparison, you go back when you go back to creating your jewelry. It is a sense, or what I'm getting from this is like, there is a sense of appreciating it even more as you go back to it. It's almost like the kid, at least I'm putting a picture in my head, but like the kid who is so determined to run away from home. And then when they're out there, they're like, okay, this is not a vibe. I kind of like, I want to go back home. And so you go back home with a fresh appreciation. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I'm starting to cry. I'm starting to tear up a little bit, but I think that's beautiful. Oh, that's so good. Yeah. So
it is just, very confirming that I am where I'm supposed to be, and it is hard. It is hard in life to realize the seasons that you're in.
Why? Hold on. Let's dive. So why is it a challenge to recognize what may be happening, this process, the season, as you were saying?
Yeah. There's been pivotal things that have happened in the world: market crashes, jobs, loss of jobs, all these things in life that happen and really change your focus. It's like, okay, well, we're starting over financially, okay, or not selling art, so I've got to do something else. Okay. Got to pay bills, okay.
Yeah.
Kids, these kids are taking a lot of my time.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is this? How do I do it all? Okay. Maybe I don't do it all right now. And there for a large part of my life, art was not a focus. It was always there. I always made every year something. I make a lot of gifts for people, Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, things like that. But as far as just creating to create per se for yourself, it's like, okay, I'm going to work on my yard. I'm going to work on landscaping. That feeds my soul and my body and my energy in a lot of different ways. That's what I have time for. That's the necessity for me. I feel like, so I'm going to work on that because that's what I can fit in my schedule of busy life, busy mom life, wife, homeowner. And there's jewelry. And I'm happy. I'm so happy to be back in the focus of jewelry.
Right.
And trying to juggle it all.
Yeah, but and you mentioned some really key gems that I want our listeners to, rewind a couple of minutes if you have to rewind to listen to exactly how she said it. But it's when you lose focus. And there's a way to keep focus and still be active in other things. I'll give you an example because that was really good. That was really good, Bonnie. So think about somebody that you either really like or if, you want to reach back to when you really liked somebody, but you may have, especially in social settings, like when you go to, when you were in grade school or when you were, like just in that kind of vibe where there's just a lot of students or there's a lot of people in some kind of room or event. But when you walked in there, number one, you may not have known they were there, but then you became aware. Okay. So now you knew that they're there. Okay. So this is going to just hear me how this has to do with having the focus and still being focused. You could have a whole conversation with someone in that room, but your focus is on that person you really like. You know exactly where they're at. And if you don't know, and you're having a conversation with somebody, you're occasionally glancing away to see where they're at. That's what I mean by you can still be in the motion of life, but in your mind, that focus, that love, that passion, it's still there and you cannot get away from it because it's innately a part of you. And so that's why artists, and, just an example, but artists or, me or you, have been through this where you take the hiatus or you just don't do it for X amount of time. But since it's such an innate part of you to create, you are still looking forward to when you actually do. And so just like that person that you really like, you're aware, you're just aware of their presence. That's all. You just know that they're in the room, them and their fine self. Like you just, you just know, you're like, okay, I'm talking to this person. And like the person you're talking to, you didn't talk to for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And it's like, can I please, I need to figure out how to get out of this conversation so I can find where they're at, So I feel like that was such a gem, y'all. And again, listeners, go back a few minutes at this point, maybe 5 minutes to hear how Bonnie said that, because that word focus really stood out. So no matter what, life is throwing at you, you go right back to your roots with it.
Yep.
That's so good.
But
so good.
Know your season. Don't give yourself too much of a hard time.
Yeah.
This tough moment will pass and you'll come out and you'll be able to get back at it. But it's just a season. It's just a season. I'm only going to have toddlers for a little while longer.
That's right. And especially highlighting, your family and, prioritizing, and even finding ways to be creative with your family, or even, like when I was working for the government, I still found ways to be creative while at work. Like this, you can find different ways to express and have freedom in that. And I love that. That's so good. You about to cry, girl? I'm about to cry. I'll cry for you because I feel my tears coming up, getting emotional. Okay, so let me go a little bit deeper here. What have some of I know you had mentioned the comparisons, and I don't know if that would be the answer to what I'm about to ask, but what have some of the greatest challenges looked like for you? Were there conversations that were a challenge? Were there people questioning what you're doing, or was it the internal dialogue? And as you mentioned earlier with comparison, what has that looked like for challenges? Because some of our listeners, not some, because I really put a lot of attention on noticing what conversations look like, comments look like from artists, but that encouragement is needed there. And yes, they have the challenge of people questioning them, like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing with art? Like, why? So what has that looked like for you, and something that you can empower our artists with?
Yeah, I feel like there's two big pivotal moments. One as an artist, and just one privately in life.
Okay.
that have been pivotal moments in my life. But I remember in college doing a jewelry competition and really getting feedback from consumers who were like, man, this is so incredible. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I love it so much. How much is it? What?
Cannot.
And I'm like, how much time and energy?
Girl.
No, I can't do that. But you love it so much. So it's like this back and forth. Great piece. And then it's like,
the price. Here we go.
What? Like, you don't understand how long this took, and how the expense involved time and materials.
Oh, yes.
Piece, like,
and the love, the care, the attention, like that's, yeah. And
then not having, having great feedback, but then not being able to sell anything. Like, that was really, really hard and discouraging.
Yeah.
And with those jewelry competitions, luckily I got a job right out of college in the jewelry industry. But that was very different from my art. I was not creating, I was working. Making good money, great money. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful time in my life, but it was like a flip switch of like, oh, maybe I don't have to be an artist. I just need to work. I'm in the industry. I'm creative in this way. I love being around jewelry. This is enough for right now.
Convincing yourself. Yeah.
So that was hard, but then you grow up and you realize money's not everything. And you lose that job because the market crashed. And you're like, oh, well, here we are back at square one.
Yeah.
What do you do now?
Right.
So yeah. And then a personal pivotal moment was, now the tears might come. Okay.
Hey, we ready? Yeah. We've already cried a few tears listening to this, so we're good. Go ahead.
Struggling with infertility. Years and years and years of heartache. And when you are just like beaten down every single month for years, it's a lot. So you don't have time to, it's hard to find a happy place. It's hard to find But I did do art therapy, and that was incredible.
Yeah.
That was incredible. So shout out to all those art therapists out there, because
I would love to learn more about that. And thank you for being so, open about it. But I love that.
Yeah, that was intense. That was wonderful. It was such a healing. I know how to make art and heal myself, but putting yourself in a position to go deep in such a hard time. Yeah.
Dang, that's good.
but it helped. It really did.
I'm sure.
And
Gosh.
remembering, just remembering, you've got your healing jewelry.
Mm, mm.
Um,
So good.
yeah.
So
So
good.
that
Oh, I want to give you a hug.
kind
Yes. Yeah. So are those, yeah, those are huge. Gosh, those are huge challenges. And,
but it really set the
mm,
tone for preparing myself for children, though.
mm,
Uh,
mm,
because there's not a lot of me time. So it just changed a lot of things, but put
yeah.
them in perspective. And yeah, I wouldn't wish it on any person.
Mhm.
The worst person in the world, I wouldn't even wish it on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
seeing my children, I see them. I'm so grateful for them. I love
Mm,
them so much. And
yeah.
I know all parents do, but I feel like it's just a little bit different. It's
Mm,
just a little bit different when you had to wait so long and you had losses and struggles that you can't. Yeah,
mm.
it just hits a little different, I think. So
I love that. And again, I definitely appreciate you being so open and transparent about this is your life, like this is life. And we love to say that art is life, but then in the next breath, compartmentalize it like it's its own little thing over here in the corner. So in other words, your life experiences, I'm trying to, okay. But your life experience, because I'm so mindful of the words I choose and then how people receive the words, but your life, your lifestyle, your choices you make in your life, it's all wrapped up in one package with your creativity within you, what that experience looks like for you. So in other words, if, as Bonnie just shared, dealing with infertility, yes, it impacts your life. It impacts your entire life. It's not like it's its own little thing over here in the corner. So, artists have, that I've interviewed and of course just talked to and had conversations with, we talk about the family, concerns. We talk about the losses in the family. You talk about the addictions that artist may be having or someone they love is having. And it's how can we find ways to go right back to appreciation? Like what with those things that are happening, how can we? And then a lot of cases, it is the art, or it is finding that moment of creativity. It may not be your favorite one, but doing something where you can express yourself in that, in a healthy way. So critical, so critical. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I love her kids, y'all too. So they are beautiful.
they love Electra too.
Yes.
I had Electra over and I was trying to get them to bed and have some me and Electra time because
I know, because that could be 8 hours later, but it is sometime.
Electra time so we could have our conversations. And
Yes.
my sneaky kids from nap and they saw Electra and they're like, I said, okay, this is Electra. She's gonna be here after nap. Okay, you're gonna hang out with Electra
after nap.
first. And I was like, say goodbye, and then put her down. And my son was like, I love her.
I know. Oh my gosh.
In the moments, the few
so good.
seconds of meeting you.
Yeah.
Like, I love her. I love her.
I was like, look, I love you too. So sweet, y'all.
Was our connection too.
I'm saying, yes, absolutely. Such a blessing.
I'm like,
yeah.
You said that. I would like to talk to you for the rest of the night.
Right. You are comedy, but going back to your kids, like, and what you had said about the weight, the weight and the external, the physical, the internal, all of those challenges, only to, God opened that up for you to actually have 2 beautiful children. And that weight looks different for everybody. For someone, 1 year could be painful, for someone else. They can wait 15 years for whatever that looks like and be okay. Like there's something like, okay, yes, I've waited 15 years and now is the time, but it would take that amount of time for them to really feel like, yo, like, like what is going on? Like nothing's happened. But now that, this blessing is coming in my life, now I feel like, yes, this is the right time, or I'm agreeing that God's time is the right timing in this case. And so what can you share about the wait? Artists are trying to do a lot of wonderful things out here, but they are dealing with this idea of the waiting. And it can get gruesome sometimes. So what kind of, and that can be anything, whether that is what you just shared, dealing with infertility, or whether that's waiting on a particular, I'm thinking of some conversations I've had recently, but like walking away from the job, like, God, when is this going to, like, I can't take another day of this, but they need the money. And, like what kind of words of encouragement can you share?
Yeah. Goodness. Where do I start? Where do I start there?
Right here, right now, girl.
Just trying to narrow down your focus on what is most important at the moment. So, putting that energy in your art, if that's the only place that you can do that, because you can't leave that job, or, you finally had it, and, make the change and see what happens. We met, you and I met at a very, like, the most pivotal moment of my life as as an artist and as a mother, and finding myself again, getting out of the house, having a job out of the home. I watched
y'all. She was wild, by the way, real quick. She was a handful when I first met her. That
I am in general.
Yes. She was very relaxed. That's what I'm saying. Like she was very like, yes, like I'm so glad to be here. And just, yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. Big time of changes when I met Alexa. And it's looking back now, and that's most of life, looking back at the hard points, looking back at the scary change times, looking back at those and realizing, gosh, that was a godsend. Like that was everything. That was the moment that, you really went deep in your art. That's really the moment when you started believing in yourself. That was really the moment when, you left the home, but your focus on your children improved because you were not there all the time. It was really hard. It's a lot of hard things, but that's life. And, just seeing how that changes you for the better.
Yes.
In everything. And it takes some time.
See, but hold on now. We're going to put the spotlight on a few things that you've said once again, because even you may not even realize, this is going back to what you said about the seasons. You may not even realize what you're going to pull out of the waiting. There's something during the wait that later on, or after you receive it, or whatever you want to call it, but later on, you'll get exactly why you had to at that time. Like it make you want to pull your hair out sometimes, right? Make you want to pull a nice little chunk, okay? Or a nice little chunk out. But how many times has that happened that we'll remember a time back when, whatever that looked like. And it's like, yo, I am so like, maybe that's why that had to happen. Maybe I did need to wait a couple years. Maybe I did have to struggle at that job. And I'll tell you, sometimes when we actually realize it, when some of us actually realize it, when we see someone else experience it and we have a story to tell. It's like someone else is going through it. And it's like, I would not have been able to connect if I didn't have an idea of what that felt like. And that's a big moment for people, and especially artists, where they're like, because it hits different when you know what that experience is like. Like even with this platform, with RTA and the things that I've, my content and all of that, the connection is there because I dealt with a lot of different things, like a lot of different internal struggles, external struggles, having issues, etc. And so there's growth when we're able to share that story. It's tough sometimes, but it's like, dang, like only in that moment when you're connecting with that individual in a healthy way, you're not, like we're both negative Nellies and now we're going to become negative Nelly times 2, no, but for the sake of healing and letting them know, like the words of encouragement you were sharing, it's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going through this right now, but you never know. And I'm adding this too. You never know who you're going to touch. Like this may seem like a YouTube video, but for someone else, they'll end up referencing this. They'll remember when they're going through having a moment, they'll actually remember something they heard on this interview. And it's just like, yo, that was really good. Like the gems drop at different times for people. It's like, oh, that hit.
Absolutely. I mean, if I hadn't, the market hadn't crashed and I hadn't lost my job, my professional jewelry job, I would never have met my husband. Well, that's not true. I met my husband in middle school. I would never have met him in the light that I saw him when I was unemployed.
He had a halo around him, y'all. He had a halo. He had a big bright halo around him, which it's like you saw him, but you looked twice. The second time,
it was like I saw him for the very first time, and I have known him. Yes, that's correct. I have known him. What, that was like 15 years already, and all of a sudden it was like the first. There's my husband.
He's glowing. He was glowing all around him.
That person. Yeah, if I hadn't lost my job, that wouldn't have happened. If
come on,
infertility, like if that hadn't happened, would I, be able to, I don't know, get out of my funks with my kids or see them in the light that I see them? Because it was just given to me. Just, if I hadn't suffered, would I still, so does that make sense? Yeah. I
can, I want to relate in my, my knowledge of what you've experienced, because my mom had 3 miscarriages and my sister and I were, the natural births. And the embracing of welcoming us in the world was just, it was, out of this world for her and my father, so yeah, I've had, a lot of talks with her about that, and the struggling moments and the emotion and, the talks that she may have had with someone like, well, get back up and go back to work. And, and it's just like, just a lot for her to deal with. And so, yeah. So yeah, thanks so much, for sharing all of this, and just, it all. And again, I'm reminding our artists, like, this is life, art is life, but your life is art, it's its own masterpiece. And it's being, I know some of y'all might like to say some of this stuff, but I need for you to, like, art is life, life is art and all that. But I need for you, or I'm encouraging you to go, again, 20 levels deep with that and really sit with some of those cliches and again, cliches maybe just in the sense of things we hear all the time. But if you really sit with it, you can see the deeper meaning in that, Look
back at your art over the years and see how it's changed with the events in your life.
Just look. Take me now.
Yeah, to see how they've changed,
Oh, so good. So good. That's
what happens. That's what happens.
yes, because we're evolving. We're evolving. There's nothing I'm not shaming no artist that has had the same style ever since they were, or for the past 20 years. I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. But I can wholeheartedly agree for my own experience with you sharing that from my own experience. There is a certain willingness and a desire to evolve, to improve, do better. And when you have that willingness, it'll show up in everything. It shows up in everything. Yeah. I love that.
You have the same,
Marty the guru.
Same thing for the past 20 years. Look at the very first piece you made 20 years ago and look at the piece that you just made yesterday. I bet there's going to be a difference. Even though you're doing the same thing, I bet you'll see a difference.
Are you an art advisor? You just didn't tell me what is going on. Oh my gosh. That's good.
For a reason, Electra.
What's that?
I said we are connected for a reason.
I'm telling you, yes.
Kindred spirits right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I co-sign that all day, every day. So true. So yeah. Oh, now hold on. Because of course I want to remind y'all, links are in the description of this video and on the podcast. Make sure you connect with Bonnie, send her an email, check her out on IG and her Facebook and all of that wonderful stuff. But I am going to pull up her Instagram and at least look at a couple of pieces. So if you're listening on the cast, then jump on YouTube so you can check out some of the pieces that we're talking about. Because she's going to give us, I'm sorry, I'm looking at this picture of you, girl. Okay, so first let me make my comments on the picture. Okay, so we're going to look at this one right here, this particular post. So this look feels very Vogue magazine, kind of like this, like, Bonnie in Paris. Like, I don't know. That's what it does for me. It gives me that kind of vibe, like the natural, elegant look or face, right? Very natural, elegant face, very flawless kind of vibe, very vegan, I'm vegan and gluten-free kind of vibe. Like that's what it looks like to me.
I am a little crunchy. Yep, I'm a little crunchy. Yeah.
Well, tell us about. But
yes, gracious, that is no makeup.
Well, I see. Okay, well, hold on. But you look great, girl. You look wonderful. But tell us about, now I'm seeing it's different pieces here. So tell us about this piece to start.
Both of these pieces I love very much. That is a mother of pearl. Those are, they're a long bead that has double holes. So it allows to have.
Oh, so because they're so long.
And yeah, both of these pieces are just pieces that I love, but I realize I don't ever wear. So I need somebody to rescue them from my jewelry box and give them some love because I'm not giving them love. I love them, but I never wear them. Like never.
Wait, so what do you mean by rescue? I mean, are you selling this one?
Yeah, both of them.
Oh, okay, girl. Oh, okay.
I was in the middle of like cleaning and no makeup. You can see. No makeup. I'm like, kids are quiet. Let me quickly take a picture. And they're like, you should put on some makeup and go outside and do some good lighting. I'm like, nope, this is just what it is.
You look like a French model or some, I don't know, like, the French model who just wants to only have a little sweep of a darker brow on for the day. And like the rest is, effortless beauty, that kind of vibe. And I'll just quickly show y'all the other necklace too.
That's tiger eye and onyx, black onyx. Love both of those pieces.
Wonderful.
Black
onyx too.
I make jewelry for myself. Basically, I make it, because I love it. I'm drawn to it and I want it. And I hope people want it. I never wear these. So please show these pieces some love and give them the attention they deserve. And
y'all, I'm so sorry. I'm like, Bonnie just got me cracking up.
Poor little, I don't know, lost little puppies.
That's why she has me cracking up, y'all, because she really does mean that. Like this is not about like for anybody who just feels like buying it just because, like, it's to say, like, you know, you're it's the transfer of the love, what we were saying earlier. It's that transfer of love, like really give love to these pieces, and when how you care for. Come on now, let me stop, let me remind y'all, because some of y'all, I need for y'all to transfer the idea that you have about your own art into jewelry. Okay, so it's the same kind of desire that we may have, a general desire artists have, is to make sure that people take care of the work that, you know, they purchase. Like, we would hope that when I mean, I don't think any artist is cool with, now some of y'all might say this just to be resistant, but I don't think, or I feel like most artists don't want someone to purchase their work and then kick a hole through the canvas, you know, like, or throw it in the trash and just be okay with the fact that they paid them. No, most of us want to know it's going to a good home. We want our creations to go to a good home.
Yeah, these necklaces are like 10 years old.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they're wonderful.
Very good care of my jewelry.
Yes, as it's just healthy. I mean, I want to give more context to that. Like, it's appreciation. So no matter what it is that we have, are you appreciating what you have? You know, are you, even if it hasn't been sold, artists, listen up, is it just tossed somewhere? Or are you at least saying, okay, are y'all talking to your art? Because I know some of y'all talk to the art, you know, you talk to the jewelry, maybe, you know, it's like, okay, babe, I know it's been, you know, a couple months, couple years, whatever that looks like, but we're going to make sure that you get to a good home, because, you know, again, like I've talked about standards. Y'all, you gotta have some like to really take care of your work if you really care about it. So that's good. I love those pieces.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, girl, don't get me started. I was going to start talking about pricing because what you were talking about when you had that moment where someone's like, oh, this is too expensive, or that kind of uncomfortable vibe, like that just had me so wired up, because, you know, I've just talked about that so much, about the prices, and whoo, I personally feel, yeah, this feels very luxury to me.
So those are, this was the original. This is the Bonnie necklace. That's the Bonnie necklace. But the labradorite that I use for selling them is slightly different. And that was a dear friend of mine. Shout out to Lydia, purchased one for herself and one to share the love to a friend in Atlanta. So
yeah, these are gorgeous.
Those were sold when I posted them. Yes, I love them so much.
The selection of these particular stones just feels really good. It just feels really warm.
Yes, they're my colors.
It feels really,
agate, and the labradorite. Oh, I love labradorite.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
my girl.
I'm sorry. That's the wrong post. Yeah.
I think you had your protection bracelet, your energy protection bracelet on in that picture.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh wait, did you have a close up of that one in that post?
Probably not. But yes, your rainbow.
Oh, okay.
That you have on now. Yeah.
Oh gosh, like I'm always laughing. At least when Bonnie and I get together, unless we have like an intense moment of like going deep with something, you know. But for the most part, yeah, laughing all day, every day. Let's see that one.
Energy protection and your earrings on in there. But yeah, your bracelet.
Oh, and the earrings too. Yes, right there, my earrings. Yeah. Yeah, I love those.
Birthday, right? Those earrings. I don't know. I think it was around there.
Yeah. So I want to just, you know, continue to say, you know, stay on that path, you know, our creatives listening, stay on, and I say stay on path, you know, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, just having that awareness that that person that you like is still in the room, you know, so that is to say that energy is, that's the highest energy that you got in you. Like, you know, people they call it different things, but like that's the lightest, the highest, that's, you know, God, that's your spirit talking to you. Like it's, and you know it, you know it. You know, you can give it a name if you'd like, but the point is, you know that it's there. And so don't be too hard or demanding on yourself to like force yourself to like, oh, you know, I better do this. And if I don't do this, then I'm going to be upset with myself. Just be aware of it and give love to it when you can, you know.
Well,
Go ahead, Bonnie.
And it's a gift, you know.
Yeah.
It's always going to resurface. So honestly, it doesn't matter how hard you try to ignore it. It's still going to rear up its ugly head or its head because it's there and you just can't get away from it. That's it.
That's can't. It. It's too much a part of you. Like what?
But yeah, acknowledging the season and not being tough on yourself. That's important too. And I say that because as a woman, a wife, a mother, we're hard on ourselves. At least I am very hard. So I have to remind myself that like this is the season. Like I can't do it all, but let's keep trying to do as much as we can.
Yeah.
That feels good.
And if anything, exactly what you just said, like do not take the highest state of yourself, that love state, the natural creative flow. Please do not take that and treat it like a task, you know, like, you know, so like forcing yourself to like, I better do this. What we were just talking about. Don't do that. Like, it's just, if you, and you, most of the time, y'all can sense it. And I just encourage you not to do that. Don't file it and treat it like with stress, you know, because it wasn't that state of you is not meant to be stressful. Like it's not meant to be a problem, you know, it's meant to flow the way it needs to just flow, like your thoughts or your emotions or it's meant to process when it's just time to process it. We all have had those days, weeks, maybe even years where there's just so much going on and you're like, whoa, okay, 2 months just passed. Okay, well, what do we have now? We have the time of now. So if you have that time right now, you're choosing to make time for it, then you'll find it. You'll find it for sure.
Yeah. And I've also learned with age and the pandemic.
With age and the pandemic.
Yeah. Maybe you do need to like just do something, you know. It doesn't have to be something serious art-wise, you know. Do a doodle. Just color in a coloring book. Do something.
Something.
Like for me with the pandemic, exercise. Like I'm miserable. I'm in a funk. Maybe I need to get down and do some yoga or go for a walk outside here. And I guarantee you're going to feel a little bit better afterwards. So yes. Just like if you're in a funk as an artist, I mean, just mix it up, do something not so serious. And I bet you're going to feel good after that too.
That's good. It's an excellent reminder for myself. I'm going to say that's a good reminder for me. And I'm sure some of our listeners, grab that too. That's a good, because I literally did that this morning. I typically will dedicate at least 3 or 4 days out the week to read at least 15 minutes. And so like once I'm starting to read, and then that 15 minutes could be like, by the time 15 minutes comes, right, I'll set a timer. By the time 15 minutes come or the 15-minute mark hits, then I'm deciding, oh, I actually feel like I could finish this chapter, you know, like, so it might stretch a little bit longer, you know? So instead of reading this morning, I decided to just grab a sketchbook and just start sketching, because I love watercolor, but I've been waiting to get more watercolor paper and then set it up again. And that idea keeps delaying me. Yeah. So that's why I was like, just give me something to just run with. Like, yes. So that's perfect timing that you said that. I literally made the decision this morning to just get in, just do something here. Just do something. That's beautiful. Yeah. Go ahead, girl. Get it, Bonnie. All right. So like, I want to ask so many other things, but because it's Bonnie, like, why would I not? And, you know, I say this in so many interviews, but you have to know yourself. I know that I could keep going and going and going. And I know that since Bonnie and I are friends, we could definitely be going for some lengthy amount of time, right?
We always go over when we're together.
I'm telling you, you got to give it like a buffer, like, like start earlier in the day. So, it doesn't go into like the wee hours and you have to be, with your family and all of that. Right. And so, yeah, we're factoring all that in, but we are going to move right into the word game. So before we do, I just want to give a fresh reminder to our listeners, make sure you check out Bonnie's links in the description below. Check her out on Instagram, send her a message. Like that's like the most personal thing. I love when people send me messages. So my call to action when people, even if I just met them, is like, oh, what's your IG? And then I tell them I'll message you right now. Like we about to get that conversation started. So y'all make sure you send her a message, check her out on Facebook, and even send her an email, which will be in the description below. You'll get all that good information. And podcasters, once again, if you have not seen her work, go to the YouTube video. More specifically for the ones that we discussed today. So you could see her masterpieces of her jewelry that we discussed today. All right. So with that being said, thank you so much, Bonnie. We're going to dive into the word game. So the thing about the word game, I'm changing it up a little bit. So for years, I've done a word game where I would just select different words and then you respond. And I'm throwing this one at you because I think the information that I had shared with you to prepare was just that I'm going to say a word and then you're going to tell me the first word that comes to mind. Right. But we're only going to do that with a few words. The other set, and of course, I'll let you know, I'll cue you when we're going to change the vibe. The other set of words will be what I'm calling word ping pong, where I say a word and then you say the word, and then whatever word you say, I will respond with the first thing that comes to mind. And then you respond with the first thing that comes to mind. And we'll just go back and forth and see how long we can do this.
Okay.
Now, the seeing how long we could do this is when one of us is taking maybe 4 or 5 seconds to think. That's when it's like, okay, we'll just put it down. Now we're going to go to the next word. Okay. So first I'm going to call off a word and you tell me the first one that comes to mind.
Okay.
All right. So that's the first group. All right. The first word is college.
Fun.
Y'all, you have to, listeners, go to the podcast. You have to see her facial expressions. They tell me absolutely everything. They tell me absolutely everything.
And I feel like I'm just a bobblehead on this video because I'm just like, yes, Electra, yes. Like all I'm doing is yes.
Comedy.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes, girl. Look, hilarious. Okay, so the next word is child.
Oh. Gosh, stress, but that's that's where I am right now. I didn't want to say it, but then I couldn't think of anything else. It was fun and stress. So,
fun stress. Like
fun because I just said fun, and then stress is awful. And then,
but I love that. But let me educate some of our listeners too. Stress can be induced even when you're having fun. Like, and the example I always use is going to a theme park. A theme park can be so exciting and thrilling and all of that. But there's so much energy that it can take out of you if you're not paying attention and pacing it out, So yeah, stress it's called eustress, EU, and then stress. Just to give the plug, because some of our
little people are constantly trying to kill themselves. So that's very stressful.
So you got to be like, yeah, on 1,000, I'm sure. Y'all, real quick, when her kids came over, Bonnie and her kids came over. God. Yo, I didn't realize how many breakable things were so accessible to toddlers. I was just like, I can't now I'm looking all over the place like, okay, wait. Oh, there's a corner on a table. There's something breakable. So yes. All right, y'all. So yeah, okay, that's good. That's a good response. We're good with that. So your next word is power.
Oh, power. Jewelry.
Jewelry, yes, ma'am.
That's
I
what
love it.
my name.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So the next word is delicate.
Delicate. I said hot finger, delicate finger. That's weird.
Oh gosh, I love it. Comedy. Delicate finger. I'm with it. There's no right or wrong answer. All right, girl. Okay, so that's going to be the close of that segment. And now we're gonna actually
Oh my gosh. With delicate finger, now we're going into ping pong. Where are we gonna go, girl? This is
I know
get wild. I think this is gonna get wild.
this this is good. Okay, so I don't know. We may only need to just run with one word and see how long we can, keep it afloat.
Do I say a different word?
You just say the first thing that comes to mind, and then I'll do the same. First thing that comes to mind. First thing that comes to mind. Yep.
Each other. All right.
Just like that. Yes, let's go. All right. So the word we're going to start with is price.
Price. Up.
Down.
Now?
What?
I said now, but that doesn't make any sense.
No, you said I mean, it is what it is. That so down now. All right. Present.
Now.
Tomorrow.
Future.
Rapper.
90s.
High school.
Yes. That's yeah. Yeah, that's right. 90s rapper, high school. Yep. So where are we gonna go now? Fun.
Fun. Fun. Dancing.
I'm like, yes. But I have to say something. Oh Lord.
Wait, okay, so we're gonna call it because now you're really pondering. You're like, okay, comedy. This is why I play these games, girl. Like, we're gonna have to actually do this in person and like do the whole back and forth thing. All right, so we're gonna just do one more word. That's the ping pong. Okay, one more word.
Oh my goodness, I feel like I failed. Sorry.
Okay.
We get it together.
Oh gosh. Okay. So the word we're going to start with is collaborate.
Collaborate. Art.
Life.
A ride.
What is it?
Ride.
Oh, okay. Car. Why are you making that face? Is it because I just quickly respond?
You're so good at this. Together.
Family.
Adventure.
Hiking.
Exercise.
Sunday.
Fun day. It's so beautiful outside, y'all. I'm probably looking weird looking out the window, but it's so nice outside.
Wait, so what? So where did we leave off? I said Sunday. Oh, you said fun day. You said fun day.
Yeah.
Friday.
First Friday.
First Friday. Art. Oh, here we're going in a circle back to art.
Yes. Art. Life.
Thankful.
Blessing.
God.
God.
Look, okay, we can't capitalize anything after that. We started off, did y'all hear that? We started off with collaborate and ended up at God. Like, That's just how it works. Okay.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. I'm getting all the feels from that. So y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. Bonnie, you have been incredible for this interview. Thank you. I am honored to have this time with you.
Thank you. I'm so honored. So.
Yes. Any shout outs? Anyone you want to give some shout outs to? Show some love?
I gave so many shout outs. Well, my family, of course. Yes, my family, my fellow artists. Yeah, they're awesome. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so
much. Absolutely, y'all.
Thank you so much for this. This has been fun to record and capture one of our conversations.
So yeah, absolutely, y'all, because I promise we've been putting out a lot of podcast episodes. We just haven't made it a podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the same with Shannon, our friend Shannon, and some of y'all by this point.
Shannon is through Shannon is how I met Electra.
Yes. Yeah. Y'all make sure you check out that interview with Shannon Lighty. Some of y'all might remember that I, called her Lighty Body. So yeah, check and reference that episode if you have yet to do so. So Bonnie and I are going to stay right here for a few more minutes, but we are going to say peace to all of y'all. Stay fully creative as much as you can, artists, creators, and all designers. We appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We're going to peace.
Love. Thank you.
Creatives, it has been both a pleasure and an honor to have you sit in on our conversation today. So will you be the next artist interviewed? Visit respecttheartist.com/artist-interviews to learn more. And hopefully I'll see you soon. RTA stands for Respect the Artist. Love y'all.